Hey everybody, welcome to Screen Crush. I'm Ryan Airy. You guys, I'm really starting to dig The Mandalorian. Besides the great action and cute baby Yoda, it's filled with Easter eggs, references, and hints about the greater Star Wars universe, which I'm going to break down for you right now. At the end of Chapter 1, Mando discovers the cutest Pokemon ever, Baby Yoda, and this episode focuses on the aftermath. Now, I should clear something up about this creature. It's not literally Baby Yoda. This show takes place 5 years after Yoda's death. I just call it Baby Yoda because we don't know what Yoda's species is. Now, there is a small chance this could be the love child of Yoda and Yaddle, another member of his species who was on the Jedi Council in Phantom Menace. But if it's not Yoda's kid, where did it come from? Well, in the TV shows Rebels and the Clone Wars, we find out that the Empire had been kidnapping Force-sensitive babies and raising them to become Sith Inquisitors. So, Baby Yoda was likely kidnapped for this reason. Now, I'm not sure if his whole species is Force-sensitive, or if just the ones who are Force-sensitive happen to be extremely strong with the Force. Anyways, his cradle floats. It's a bit of production design, perhaps inspired by Yoda's floating chair in Attack of the Clones. He's eyeballing these lizards, which at first I thought was cute, until I realized it was because he was hungry. Aw, no, it's still cute. Who's the best frog eater in the world? You are! Mando has to fight off a bounty crew of Trandoshans. These are the same species as the bounty hunter Bosk from Empire Strikes Back. Now, maybe I'm just being space racist here, but this looks like the same crew that was eyeballing Mando in the tavern in the last episode. So maybe this is a rival crew of guild bounty hunters who got tired of Mando taking all the choice bounties and decided to cut in on his action. Now later on, Baby Yoda seems like he wants to heal him, and this is a Force power we haven't seen before, but it totally makes sense that it would exist. Remember how Yoda described the Force?
Life creates it, makes it grow.
So it makes sense to me that you could use the Force to accelerate the healing of organic matter. Then he discovers a tribe of Jawas stripping his ride. Now, even though this sandcrawler is similar to the one we saw in A New Hope, that doesn't mean that this is TATOOINE. In the last episode, we saw Jawas looking for deals in a flea market. Now, this implies that Jawas are interstellar bargain hunters, kind of like the Ferengi. They also fly both flags and banners on top of their sandcrawlers. So maybe the banner represents this one tribe, while the flag represents the greater Jawa coalition. And also, it rains on this world, which is something we haven't seen happen on Tatooine.
There's nothing to see. I used to live here, you know.
But still, it's hard to imagine the Jawas transporting machines as clunky as sandcrawlers to new planets. Now personally, I kind of hope this isn't Luke's homeworld because I'm kind of sick of seeing Tatooine in so many movies and TV shows and stuff. But what do you think? Should Lucasfilm finally move on from this planet? Let me know down in the comments. Mando's telescope has a readout and screen very similar to Luke's binoculars in A New Hope. He uses a sniper rifle to kill Jawas, which I get. I've killed Jawas in Battlefront and it's super fun. But notice that his rifle actually disintegrates the organic matter and leaves the clothes behind. Now, I don't think we've seen this technology in Star Wars before, though it was teased by Darth Vader in The Empire Strikes Back.
But I want them alive. No disintegrations.
As you wish.
Then Mando pursues them, they throw junk down on his head, and then they zap him with the same stun gun they used on R2-D2. Now notice the little details they added into this sequence, like how the Jawas use an analog phone line, almost like a paper cup telephone, to communicate to the drivers through this horn. Also, the Sandcrawler's controls are a series of levers, just like a piece of heavy construction equipment. This extreme wide shot is meant to mimic this epic shot from Lawrence of Arabia. In fact, The Mandalorian has so many allusions to westerns and other films that we'll probably make a video about that after the series wraps. So subscribe if you want to know when that drops. He goes back to the home of Kuul, an Ugnaught voiced by Nick Nolte. You may remember Ugnaughts from the Cloud City scrap pile in Empire. Now, how cool is it that there's no dialogue in this episode until we're about 10 minutes in? It's a terrific example of visual storytelling that we usually don't get to see in blockbuster media outside of Pixar films like WALL-E and Up. After hearing his conversation with Kuul, I'm not clear what Mando's intentions are toward this baby. When he stopped IG-11 from killing it, I assumed it was because he had a soft spot for the most adorable creature I've ever seen in my life. But maybe he just wants the larger bounty.
Proof of termination is also acceptable for a lower fee.
Now it definitely sounds like he's going to turn this kid in, right?
I think it's a child. It is better to deliver it alive then.
Kuul is riding a blurg, an animal that we first saw in the Ewok TV movie but has reappeared in the animated shows. They interrupt the Jawas as they're sorting through their new booty. At least I assume that's what they're doing and not setting up a flea market. I got the impression from New Hope that Jawas deliver their gear to their regular customers and not set up markets in the middle of nowhere. Among the gear is an R5 unit like we saw in New Hope and a new droid that has the base of a medical unit. As part of his bargain with the Jawas, now he has to fight a space rhino for a hairy egg. Now this is a nice pivot from space western Western to space fantasy because now he's essentially a knight who has to fight a dragon for a prize. Now personally, I was glad this was a new monster and not something we've seen before like the Rancor because, I mean, as everybody knows, Rancors are not native to desert planets, they're from planet Felucia, which was featured in Revenge of the Sith. Now I'm gonna throw this out there. I think it's kind of lame that Baby Yoda stops the creature with the Force. It's just there to emulate Yoda's X-Wing rays in Empire. Until now, moving around rocks and stuff has taken a lot of training and practice. Even Anakin, whose midi-chlorian count was higher than Yoda's, wasn't moving stuff around when he was a little kid. But you know what? That little kid does move a broom in Last Jedi. Anyways, I would have preferred it if Baby Yoda would have soothed the beast to sleep and then Mando just killed it. But that's me. What do you think of Baby Yoda using his Force powers? I mean, it is cute how the little guy's all tuckered out afterwards. Now, one interesting thing does come out of this.
I still don't understand what happened.
Neither do I.
Neither Mando nor Cool have any idea what the Force is or associate this magic power with the Jedi. Now this fits in perfectly with all of the movies. Palpatine told the Senate that the Jedi tried to assassinate him and overthrow the Republic.
What's happened?
The Chancellor's been elaborating on a plot by the Jedi.
Then Imperial propaganda would have said the Jedi never had special powers, it was all
a lot of simple tricks and nonsense.
When New Hope starts, most people, like Han, don't believe in the Force.
There's no mystical energy field controls my destiny.
Especially members of the Empire.
Your sad devotion to that ancient religion has not helped you conjure up the stolen data tapes.
But the rebels still remember.
And may the Force be with you.
But then, following the defeat of the Empire, the public isn't aware that the Emperor was a Sith or that Luke Skywalker saved the day.
Luke Skywalker? I thought he was a myth.
Luke would have wanted to keep his new Jedi Order a secret because they were vulnerable to attack, which is exactly what happened.
I failed.
Now notice, this is the first time the Jawas have ever been subtitled. And it's the first indication we get of their hierarchy. This Jawa who splits the egg is their chief, and this one in the crowd, that's your mom. Mando asks Cool to join his crew, and he says,
I am honored, but I have worked a lifetime to finally be free of servitude.
Now he's an Ugnaught, a species that's known to be incredibly hardworking. So hardworking that the Empire used them for forced labor, which is another way of saying
the prisoners with jobs.
Which is slaves. The Empire had them as slaves. So that's all the Easter eggs that I found. If you found any, let me know down in the comments below. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe. For Screen Crush, I'm Ryan Airy.